Go ahead and roll. Good evening. Today is September 24th, 2020. It is 6 o'clock p.m. and it is time for the Vernon Hills Park District Board of Commissioners regular board meeting. Call to order, please. Roll call.
Commissioner Kessler.
Here.
Commissioner Robbins.
Here.
Commissioner Moline.
Here.
Commissioner Baloo.
Present.
President Dorhoeffer.
Here, if we can all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item on the agenda tonight is the omnibus vote agenda. Items under the omnibus vote agenda are considered routine and or non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. If a separate vote on any one item is desired, it will be pulled from the omnibus vote agenda and voted on separately. Items included for the omnibus are the minutes of the regular board meeting dated August 27th, 2020, and payables and payroll through September 24th, 2020 in the amount of $944,784.03. Could I have a motion to approve the omnibus vote agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Moline.
Yes.
Commissioner Baloo.
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler.
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins.
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer.
Yes, next item on the agenda is the financial reports for the period ending August 30th. Jeff, are there any changes to the financial reports that are currently on file?
There are none.
Next item on the agenda is the welcome to visitors public comment period. Seeing as no one has decided to join us this evening, we will go to reports and communication. Executive Director Jeff Fugero. Jeff?
Okay. So I'm just going to give you an update from all of our staff. Just a quick summary. I know in your packet you received, and we just gave you a paper copy that we just received from one of the affiliates on all their compliance on their financial information for 2019. So you have all the affiliate information before you. That'll be an item on the agenda a little bit later. Also tonight, we're asking for just authorization for the board. Lake County has provided a COVID relief fund effort where they'll be reimbursing local government bodies for their COVID expenditures. We just need an official statement from the board supporting that. The district has the capability, the ceiling is $87,000 that we can submit reimbursement requests for. And I can tell you with almost certainty, we're gonna get pretty close to that ceiling. If not, we'll be turning in everything close to that. We also have on the agenda just the annual review of closed session minutes. We're gonna do that in open session. The Lashen Park, IGA, it seems weird to call it Lashen Park, I just think of the Lashen Center, but that's an agreement we've been kind of going back and forth with. The village just adopted last week. The emphasis that we were kind of holding out on was we wanted a longer term commitment on the lease of the site. And so what you have before you is a document at 50 years. And that was a little over a year ago. It was both Jim and Dave and I sat with village board and a liaison conversation just to try to take it a little bit north of what the initial ask was for. So basically our responsibility is to oversee the tennis courts, and then the village will take care of all the rest of the property. So all of the lawn maintenance and snow and removal, et cetera, is going to be the responsibility of the village. At this point, if you recall, we have a grant, a capital grant from the state for $250,000 for tennis court improvements and then to construct a small play area. So that, my recent conversation with Representative Didich, that's going to be several years off more than likely before we see the funds on that. So one of the things we're working with, part of the agreement is the village is going to contribute $75,000 towards improvements. So we're going to look after the first of the year of potentially just working with the village on demolishing those courts, those 4 courts, and constructing 2 new tennis courts. We would contribute a portion of that out of our capital fund just to get the project cleaned up. The site as it is should be padlocked right now, and it's completely unusable. So you could go out there and there are cracks 4 to 5 inches wide with grass growing through it. There's hovering on the courts. James has made an assessment with some of the public works staff. It's not playable. So our recommendation from a safety standpoint to the village was to just gate it right now and lock it down for the rest of this, fall, and then we'll attack it in the early spring and refinish it. Future plans, once the grant monies would become available, we would construct a small playground, and we've talked about adding 1 or 2 additional courts, potentially adding pickleball courts in that site in lieu of a 3rd or 4th court. And the villages, again, since we would be the proprietor of any improvements on that, we would make that decision as an organization about what the future site, wants to be and wants to look like. So tonight, it's more just the efficiencies of getting this 50-year commitment with the IGA on the village on that, on the lease of that property. Any questions on that? Anybody have?
Actually, I have a question. On the agreement, it said tennis courts, and I was wondering if do we have the flexibility, or do we need to say in the agreement that it could be pickleball or something like that? Because it's, it only says tennis courts, so is that something we need to be concerned of because it's part of the contract?
It's a good question. I mean, I think because we're gonna have the rights to do whatever we want to construct it.
But it says
says tennis.
tennis courts.
Yeah.
And it doesn't say anything else on it. And I don't think there would be a problem, but if there's a big tennis group out there and then they say it's supposed to be only tennis courts, I think we should have the flexibility if we can maybe edit that a little bit.
I don't think it would be a problem, Cindy, to just add in language on that. Still have Dave authorize the agreement tonight. I'll clean it up and we'll send it over to the village tomorrow. I've talked to the village manager about it, and he has no problem with putting pickleball in there at some point in the future. I think right now, we just wanna take care of cleaning the site up and, next spring sometime, and getting at least a couple of courts added.
And we can wait on the playground per the agreement until the
Yeah.
funds, and that's all okay?
Correct.
There's no timeline
Correct.
on when we
No.
have to develop that?
No.
Okay.
I think the agreement references the existing condition, which is why it says tennis courts. So I don't think that the way it's worded, that it's gonna prohibit us from doing anything, but.
Plotted area versus.
I'll add it in anyways and just, send it over to them and see, but it shouldn't be a problem. We've got our auditors, they're working on completing the draft. We should have that within the next 2 to 3 weeks. They will be presenting live at our October meeting, Lauterbach and Amen. So our October meeting is gonna be in the community room, because we're gonna need to spread out a little bit. The main emphasis that evening is to recognize a certain person for his tenure as a commissioner, so we'll be doing a little send-off for Jim on that. Pleased to say we're gonna start opening the Sullivan Community Center on Sundays, not this weekend, but the following weekend, October 4th. Part of that, well, mostly that is based on, we have a pretty significant rental with this church group that wants to come back. They know they're gonna follow all the guidelines, but it's a nice, it's decent rental income for the district to warrant us to staff it, and open the facility. So we're gonna open from 9 to 3 on Sundays. We're gonna bring back pickleball, indoors. We currently, on Sundays, they're using just 3 courts. We're gonna stripe out 3 additional courts in the back gym, so we'll have 6 indoor pickleball courts. And open that up, since we can't do basketball. Usually we have open basketball on Sundays, but we're not allowed to do that. And then, just once again, kudos to the whole organization with in receipt of the Government Finance Officers, award, which is a great certificate for financial achievement for the district. So I was pleased to see that came through. Our winter guide is, as I mentioned last month, is gonna be strictly digital. And Cheryl and her staff are working on getting that out. We are gonna send a postcard. We're gonna mail that to all of our residents so they know what to look forward to. A positive thing, our annual report was posted just a week ago, and we've had close to 3,000 views just from a digital document. So that made me feel a lot better about our winter guide in terms of what we're gonna try to push out. We're waiting to hear from NRPA on just when they're going to announce the gold medal award. There's nothing online right now. We've had phone calls into them, so we can't get a concrete answer. But we're planning on doing a viewing party in the Sullivan Center with our staff, and obviously our board would be invited as well. We don't know when that is. Typically, as you all have been there, it's after the keynote speaker on Tuesday morning, and then they do the awards. So the keynote speaker is 10:30 to noon on that Tuesday. I think it's like the 27th of October, but they haven't said anything about whether they're gonna do these, announcements shortly thereafter. So as soon as we hear anything, we'll let you know, and then we're just gonna, obviously, we'll probably set something up in the gymnasiums where you can all spread out, and we'll put up a big screen, and that's how we're gonna find out, just like everybody else. We wanna announce that we're doing a veterans, coat drive, and we're a drop-off site here right inside Sullivan Center. So for our residents that are viewing this, anytime the building is open, we would encourage you to drop off coats and hats and scarf. They can be slightly used. Obviously, we don't want any real torn or tattered things. But we've already had just this last week, we've had a good drop-off, and that goes through October 9th, and then they'll be shutting it down. Group exercise classes, we've invested in just some heating, outdoor heating and lighting under our tent. Our membership's been surveyed. The majority of them are still okay with being outside as long as the temperature doesn't get below like 40, 45. So we're gonna run this through probably all of October. Our outdoor, exercise classes are doing great. But as we get into November and the weather starts getting colder, we're gonna have some of the Group X classes here at Sullivan because of the large gymnasium, and some of our instructors have asked for that. We're investing in another one of those AirFix systems that we have, and we're gonna be putting that up in the gym just for air quality improvements. Again, that's an expense that we can get reimbursed for through this county, so we felt it was worthy to acquire one of those as well. James wanted me to remind our residents that all of our fish and our lakes are catch and release only. We're seeing a lot more people take them. So we want to just remind people of that. I think you've seen the post, our sled hill is down for maintenance till the end of October. So they're doing some heavy reseeding and aerating, and it's been taking a pretty good beating since March. So I think it's a good thing that we're doing that. The skate park, beginning this Monday, the 28th of September, through that whole week, we're gonna be shut down for just some, you can see that thing is heavily used. And so our park staff will be doing some work there. We've been doing a lot of work on the outdoor aquatic center, mainly painting the whole area. We've got some leaks that we found, and so we're working with a vendor to try and fix some of those leaks as well. And then finally, I know last month we talked about our solar project at the Parks Maintenance Department, that we finally got our third party and trained to get together and provide permission to ComEd to activate our system. So we should be able to provide you with some kind of an update at our October meeting in terms of the potential energy savings that we're gonna see on that. October, we got a lot of special events coming up. We've got a family trivia night on October 2nd. That's here at our center. And then we got the Recycle Rama out at the Hawthorne Mall. We're partnering with both Swelco, the Village of Vernon Hills, Vernon Township, and Representative Diddich. That's from 9 to noon on Saturday, October 3rd. We're doing 2 more drive-in movies on October 8th and 9th. That's here at the Family Aquatic Center. Our Friday, October 9th is sold out. So we do have openings on the Thursday, the October 8th. We still have some openings on that, and that's $10 a car. We're doing our second annual, this is our Dragon egg hunt at Deer Path Park. We're doing that on October 10th. So again, all these are found on our website. And then our usual trucks, trunks, and treats events where we get 800 or 900 people come. We're not able to do that. So we're doing on Halloween Day from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the Aquatic Center and Sullivan Center. We're doing a trucks and treats. So people, it's free of charge. People can come through. They'll drive through in their vehicle. We have a number of businesses, just like all of you have seen where we've held it, the Fall Fest inside the gym. They'll be outside, and cars come through, and they'll be given a treat, thrown in probably, and then they'll just move on down the road. So a busy month. We're trying to, again, do things. A lot of things are free. We're just trying to get, people to have some reprieve of what they're kind of going through. That's all I got. I'd be happy to answer any other questions from the board.
Any other questions? Bruce?
Jeff, I have a question. When we rent out our facility to an organization as the landlord, do we have any responsibility that they follow the guidelines that they're supposed to?
Yeah, so they complete a facility use agreement, and on that agreement, there's a list of probably 25 or 30 things that they have to comply with. We have a supervisor on site, and we have a custodian that does the setup and the cleanup afterwards as well, and that's all included in the rental fee.
Any other questions regarding the committee reports? Staff reports, I should say. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is Commissioner Committee Reports and Communication. We have one this week, and unfortunately it's from one of our own commissioners. It says, President Dorhofer, with the recent and upcoming changes in my life, I will be moving out of Vernon Hills in the near future. Because of this, I will no longer be eligible to serve as commissioner on the Vernon Hills Park Board, and therefore resigning my position from the board effective immediately after the October 22nd, 2020 meeting. I have very much enjoyed my experience the past 13 years serving the residents of Vernon Hills and will miss it. Being associated with such a dedicated group of commissioners and staff has been rewarding. I wish you and the other board members nothing but the best in your future endeavors. Thanks to all of you for your professional commitment to our community and the residents for making the board service a pleasure. So effective at next month's board meeting, Commissioner Ballou will be stepping down. We will be looking at resumes if you're interested in sending in potential to fill Commissioner Ballou's spot. We will be taking resumes until October 9th, which is a Friday. After that, we'll be reviewing resumes and potentially interviewing and or making decisions based on what we see with the resumes. So very sad news for us, Jim.
Sorry.
But happy for you. Board correspondence, there is none. Unfinished business, there is none. New business. Annual affiliate agreement. So everybody should have received the updated. We got the girls basketball tonight. Anybody have any questions that need to go back to the affiliates regarding any of their paperwork? Nothing? You're good? All right. Next is an intergovernmental agreement, COVID-19 Relief Fund. Can I have a motion to approve the COVID Relief Fund IGA?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Ballou,
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
Commissioner Moline. Yes. President Dorhofer.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is the Lashin IGA authorization. Could I have motion to approve the intergovernmental lease agreement between the Village of Vernon Hills and the Park District for 294 Evergreen Drive?
So, second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Kessler,
Yes.
Commissioner Ballou,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
Commissioner Moline. Yes. President Dorhofer.
Yes. Next is the semi-annual review / approval and or release of closed session minutes and destruction of audio tapes. Would any commissioner like to make a motion to make the minutes of the closed sessions of June 25th, 2020 and July 23rd, 2020 be made available to the public, having been determined by the board that they no longer require confidential treatment.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Meline?
Yes.
Commissioner Baloo?
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler?
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer?
Yes. Would any commissioner like to make a motion that the park board hereby determines that the need for confidentiality still exists as to all remaining closed session minutes or portions thereof not previously released for the public inspection and shall not be made released to the public at this time?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Kessler?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Meline?
Yes.
Commissioner Baloo?
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer?
Yes. Next is commissioner comments. Commissioner Baloo.
I will save everything for next month.
Commissioner Blaine?
Then I will too.
Commissioner Robbins?
No, I just, I agree with Dave. It's, sorry to see you leave, Jim.
Commissioner Kessler?
I'll save it for next month.
I won't. Because I won't be here next month. I just checked my air flight. We bought tickets about a month and a half ago, and I will be out of town next month. So,
So Jim, you're running your
You're running the last meeting.
I got some good news. I got some bad news.
It's fine.
I'm at a loss for words, Jim. It's 13 years has gone by in a heartbeat. The tough times, the fantastic times, the friendships, the commitment you showed to this board, the commitment you showed to the residents of Vernon Hills. This is not an easy job at times, and doing it for 13 years is an amazing accomplishment. I remind you that Commissioner Blue, as with all the other commissioners, receives no compensation for doing this. So it's out of a pure passion and love for the community and passion and love for parks and open space that he has done this for 13 years. And Jim, I can't think of a better representative to be on this board than you. So on behalf of all the residents, thank you very much for all your years of dedication.
You're quite welcome. It was my pleasure.
Motion to adjourn? Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Meline?
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer?
We are adjourned.